Good afternoon, and welcome to this week's Time Out. One of the most intriguing miracles in the Bible comes to us from John chapter 2, where Jesus turns the water into wine. Most of you know the story. Jesus, his mother, and his disciples are at a wedding, and the wine runs out. Jesus' mother comes to him and explains to him the problem, seeking him to do something. Jesus seems reluctant at first to do anything, but then he does something and performs a miracle that reveals his glory. In Joel chapter 3 and verse 18, it says this, "And that day the mountains will drip new wine, and the hills will flow with milk, and the ravines of Judah will run with water. A fountain will flow out of the Lord's house." The wine speaks of luxury and joy. Milk speaks of nutrition, and the fountain speaks of an abundance of the waters of life coming from the throne of God. Jesus begins his miracle ministry with the miracle of changing the water into wine, showing us that he is ushering the time of God's blessing, a time of joy, love, and peace. At the wedding, they were celebrating, and then the wine ran out. I imagine this put a big damper on the wedding celebration, a damper on the joy of that celebration. Curiously enough, there are 6 stone water jars there, and Jesus tells them to fill the jars with water. Those jars were used for ceremonial washing or worship. Why do I find this curious? Because Jesus had come to earth to transform worship from that which was ceremonial to that which is of the spirit or of the heart. That type of worship had left them just like the water jars, empty. They were able to wash their hands, but their hearts were not only empty, but soiled. There are some important words here spoken by Mary. She says, "Whatever he tells you to do, do it." So the servants filled the jars with water, and immediately it is transformed into wine. The jars held between 120 and 150 gallons. The servants filled them to the brim, and the water was all turned to wine. They went from not having anything to having an abundance. And that is the way our lives are when we come to Christ. We go from not having anything to having an abundance. Where there is emptiness, there is now fullness. Where there is sadness, there is now joy. You know, we are living in the days of the external, a day where there is a well of joy that seems to have run dry, a day when sadness prevails, and we are watching during this pandemic to see that suicides are up higher than ever. People reach for more wealth thinking it will bring them joy. People reach for more sin thinking it will bring them freedom. But this is the truth. No matter how hard you try, the wines of this world, no matter what they are going to run out, and they're going to leave you empty. However, if you come to Jesus and allow him to, he will turn that external emptiness into an eternal joy. So this week, take some time to think on these things and think about Jesus. Turn off the TV. Turn off the news that depresses, leaving you empty and uncertain of what is to come, and listen to the words of Mary. Whatever he tells you to do, just do it. If you do, I think you will find your joy tank going from empty to full.